Aquarius, welcome to your monthly horoscope for September 2023. In this video, I will be going through some of the energy that you will be moving through for the month of September. So coming into the month, we have quite a few planets retrograde. We still have Venus retrograde here in your seventh house. Now, Venus also rules your ninth house and your fourth house. Your ninth house represents higher education, higher knowledge, your belief systems, philosophy, also long distance travel. Your fourth house rules home, family, property, real estate. And so while Venus has been retrograde, you may have been rethinking these themes and topics. Now, coming into the month, we also have Mercury retrograde here in your eighth house. Your eighth house rules your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources, taxes, inheritance, loans. And so there may be something you are having to address at this time around those themes and topics. But Mercury also rules your fifth house of hobbies and interests, what you do for fun, your children, also creativity. So this is where you can be thinking of creating something. You're starting to get ideas. This is where something may be showing up with your children that you're having to work through. This is where you may be even rethinking, getting back into your hobbies, those things that you enjoy doing. September 3rd, we have Venus stationing direct here in your seventh house. Now, Venus ruling your ninth house and your fourth house. This is where, when a planet stations, the energy of that planet becomes enhanced a little bit. So we can really feel the power from the energy from that planet when it's on the day that it stations. And so, whatever you've been moving through, when it has to do with your home and your family, whatever has really shown up for you, this is where you can get, some sudden insight or clarity around that. Also, whatever you've been moving through, excuse me, with these ninth house topics, where, if something's shown up for you, or if you've been moving through something that has to do with, higher education, higher knowledge, your belief systems, or long distance travel, this is where, you can gain some clarity around that as well. September 4th, we have Jupiter stationing retrograde here in your fourth house. Now, the interesting thing about this Jupiter retrograde is that Jupiter is going to move back to 5 degrees of Taurus. And back at the end of April, beginning of May, we had Mercury retrograde over this exact spot in your chart from 15 to 5 degrees. So that is quite interesting. So if you think back, maybe some information you received back then or a conversation that you had, maybe revisited, maybe you're deciding to take somebody up on an offer or, rethink an opportunity. Now, Jupiter also rules your 11th house of friendships and online connections and social groups and humanitarian pursuits and also social media. So this can also be a time too where you are, rethinking, reevaluating, opportunities that have to do with friendships, that have to do with online connections or social media. This can also be a time where, Jupiter is going to be retrograde until December 30th. So this is an energy that you will be moving through for the remainder of 2023. And with Jupiter bringing in, opportunity, expansion, abundance, and luck, this can be, where if there was an opportunity that showed up for you at some time, maybe you are, or at some point, at some time, I can't speak, it's Mercury retrograde. If there was, an opportunity or something did show up for you, with your friends or with, some type of online connection or something, regarding social media, this is where you really are, deciding to possibly move in that direction over the next few months. On September 6th, we have the Mercury Cazimi happening in your eighth house, and it will actually happen at 13 degrees here. So this is where whatever you've been moving through with this Mercury retrograde, around, possibly your children, your hobbies, your interests, your creativity, this is where you can have, some sudden insight come in. Mercury Kazemi, when we're in a Mercury combust energy, which we will be moving through for the first week of September, there can be a lack of clarity that can bring on brain fog or, confusion, lack of direction. We're not really knowing, um, the answers, or we're not really knowing, which direction to take. We can't speak like me with this Mercury retrograde energy. Mercury is my chart ruler. So I tend to, when Mercury is retrograde, I really am not able to communicate at all. But when we have a Mercury Cazimi, this is when we can, really get some sudden insight, or it's almost even to like an epiphany around something. And so, whatever you've been, moving through with this fifth house and these eighth house topics, this can even have to do with your partner's finances or money coming in from outside resources in some way. And then on September 14th, we have that new moon in Virgo at 21 degrees here in your eighth house. And so this is a great time to set intentions for, your partner's finances, money coming in from outside resources. If you are wanting to get a loan, this would be a great time to do so. On September 15th, we have Mercury stationing direct. And so, whatever you've been moving through with this Mercury retrograde energy, this is again where you can receive, a little bit of an epiphany, some insight. This is where we can get ideas of a direction that we want to move in. We don't really implement anything at this time or start to take a new direction, but this is a good time to, get those ideas and almost even gain clarity on the direction that you want to take. Because again, when a planet stations, we do feel the energy of that planet a little bit more intensely. And so, whatever you've been moving through with your partner's finances or money coming in from outside resources, or, if something has shown up with your children or, around your creativity, or if you've been, really, even creating something during this Mercury retrograde. This can even, or thinking about creating something, when Mercury stations, this is where you get that sudden idea, insight, and epiphany of what to create. And then September 16th, we have Venus forming a square to Jupiter, and Venus ruling your fourth house and also ruling your ninth house. This is where something may come up within the home or with family. Now, this isn't really a new energy. This is kind of this Venus saga that we've been moving through. Venus did square Jupiter when she was retrograde, and now that Venus is direct, she's squaring Jupiter again, only this time Jupiter is retrograde. And so something may show up around this time that has to do with your home, your family, your property, possibly real estate. And then also something may show up too around your belief systems or around long distance traveling or higher education, higher knowledge, maybe, taking a course and it's going to take longer to enroll. And then on September 19th, we have the sun form an opposition to Neptune. Now, this is actually some really beautiful energy. However, and I have been bringing this up to all of the signs, but this will be felt a little bit differently collectively than individually. So, the sun opposing Neptune can bring on a lot of confusion, can possibly bring on deception. There can be a lot of information coming out at this time that, people are very confused. They're not knowing or understanding the direction that we are moving in. However, individually, this can be really beautiful energy to tap into because if you look, we have this beautiful kite configuration, and the sun represents our soul's expression, our life force energy, and forming a trine to Pluto and a trine to Uranus, and then Uranus and Pluto are connecting to Neptune, there is this beautiful kite configuration. Now, once we get to September 20th, The sun forms an exact trine to Pluto. And so Pluto being, very powerful, very psychic energy, Neptune being very spiritual, Uranus being known as the Great Awakener, and the sun literally being our soul's expression. This is really beautiful energy to be tapping into to expand and heighten your intuition, expand your psychic abilities, develop psychic abilities, raise your frequency, raise your vibration. And so, September 19th and September 20th are really great days to be meditating, to be drawing the energies in, to be tapping into the energies around you, to raise your frequency, raise your vibration, do any type of spiritual work, enhance your psychic abilities, and, really enhance your intuition and develop your intuition as well. On September 30th, we have the sun entering Libra, which is in your ninth house. Now, we also have Mars here in the ninth house, but with the sun being in the ninth house, this can just be bringing, a lot of your attention to ninth house themes and topics. Maybe you're focusing a little bit more on philosophy or higher education, higher knowledge. Maybe you're really thinking about taking a course, or maybe you're really thinking about traveling at this time through Libra season. Now, I would be careful with the traveling if it is something that you're thinking about because of that Mars energy in the ninth house. But yeah, this could be a time where you're really diving deep into different philosophies and even, focusing on your belief systems in some way, maybe changing your belief systems, maybe even becoming aware of belief systems that are no longer in alignment with you. And then on September 28th, we have Venus forming a square to Uranus. And again, so we are dealing with this Venus saga energy. So whatever you've been moving through, around your home and family, property, real estate, this is where something can be coming up, a little bit unexpectedly. Could be an annoyance, that you have to attend to. Also too, because Venus rules your ninth house, this can have to do with your belief systems. Maybe something is being brought up or shown to you that questions your belief systems, or your belief system that is very, sudden and unexpected. Maybe you have, maybe you've always stood strong in your belief systems, and something is brought up where you are questioning that in some way. This can also do with you, maybe enrolling in a course and it unexpectedly is, taking longer. Maybe you're not able to go. Maybe it's pushed back. Enrollment date is pushed back in some way. So again, just something to be mindful of the end of the month. And then on September 29th, we have the full moon here in Aries at 6 degrees 0 minutes. So it's not at this 13th degree. It is actually at 6 degrees right here in your third house. And the third house represents your community, your neighbors, your neighborhood. Also, vehicles, siblings, and cousins also reside in the third house. And the third house also represents communication, speaking, reading, writing. And so this is a time where maybe you are really thinking about those themes and topics with the moon lighting up your third house. This is also a period of time where you can start to see the manifestations of the intentions that you set at the time of the new moon in Aries, or the new moon of this monthly cycle. And so if you think back to the end of March, beginning of April, when we had the new moon in Aries, any intentions you were really setting at that time. Now, if you really reflect back, now is when you can really see, those intentions finally come to fruition and manifest. Aquarius, I really hope this horoscope helps you navigate the energy for September. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.